More than 800 arrests were made in South Africa between October of last year and December of last year. This was revealed by the Hawks National Head, Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya, on Friday during a briefing on the Hawks' achievements in the third quarter of the year. Now, the crimes committed include murder and cash-in-transit heists. The briefing also revealed that 126 statements relating to the Phala Phala investigation have been taken by the Hawks. So let's discuss this and other issues further. The National Head for the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya, joins us here in studio. General, it's great to have you here. Thanks very much for making time.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you. So 800 arrests made between October and December of last year. But we know that arrests don't translate into convictions. 200 and odd convictions emanating from that number, is that right?
That's correct, 229.
Are you happy with that kind of statistic?
One is comfortable with the statistics. As you'll understand that these matters, when they go to court, they are highly contested. And one matter can take actually a year. You have got matters that we know are already set for hearing in December. So it means that when you set a date for trial, you can expect that you have got a lot of witnesses to be called. To cite an example, you can see currently we have got the matter in eThekwini, where we are dealing with a waste incident involving a number of 22 accused persons. You can expect that about 100 witnesses will be called to go and testify. So those type of matters take time. When you hear that you have got one case with more than 2,000 charges, they are complicated. It's not a matter that can be finalized within a month. So when we look at 229, one is satisfied that the courts have actually finalized a number of matters. So it is not only this one that have been finalized. As we shall have indicated, more than 11,000 accused persons are currently pending in the courts. So the number that resulted in conviction, one is satisfied with that.
You're talking about the case involving Zandile Gumede, the Durban solid waste tender in eThekwini.
That's correct.
That case has seen quite a lot of postponements. It's been on the court roll for some time. The trial is now finally getting underway. Hundreds of millions of rands involved in that case. Insofar as your investigations as the Hawks, how confident are you going in?
Yeah, as you shall see, that it have taken time to be investigated. You look at the amount of paperwork that has been put together, which will be utilized as part of evidence. There has been a lot of work that has been put into that. We had to put a team from national office that we called National Clean Audit Task Team to go and do that investigation. So we are comfortable with the amount of work that has been put into that case. So obviously the accused people also have got to present their side of the story to dispute what is in the court docket.
I want to, and apologies for harping on this number, the number of arrests versus the number of convictions, General. If we talk 800 arrests, 200, what was the number you gave us?
229.
229 convictions. Is that the final number of convictions out of that 800, or are there still cases ongoing from the 800 arrests?
No, these 229 convictions will not necessarily emanate from 803, because these 803 are new matters, are new arrests. So 229 are all matters that are on the court roll. So this 803 is the one that add up for us to have 11,000 matters on the court roll. So to measure how we are succeeding is to look at the acquittal rate. And you always find that the conviction rate is actually more than 80%.
I see.
So we are not losing them. It's just that the rate at which the matters are being disposed of takes longer.
So the conviction rate, and that's what I was getting at in trying to determine whether that 229 was related to the 803. But that's not the conviction rate. The conviction rate that the Hawks is working with currently is 80%.
Yeah, it's more than 80% conviction rate. So these matters, we are not losing them at court.
So let's talk about matters that are in the news agenda at the moment. Dr. Murunwa Makwarela, he's in the news agenda. The Chief Registrar of the High Court in Pretoria says that he's referred the matter to the Hawks for a fraud and forgery investigation. It's all related to his liquidation and whether, in fact, he has been rehabilitated, right? Is that a matter that is on the Hawks' agenda?
Yeah, on Friday, when I was giving the interview, the matter was not yet referred to us. Later on Friday, indeed, the matter was registered in Brooklyn, and then the case has now been referred to us. We are currently looking at it. So while the allegations shall have been made of forgery and uttering, we are going to look broadly at that, any other criminal activity around that one. So that is what we are going to be looking at.
Okay, we hope to get an update from you on that as soon as you have one for us. Then the allegations raised by Directorate in that interview that was given just a couple of weeks ago, insofar as corruption at Eskom is concerned. He made wide-ranging allegations about criminal syndicates operating at the power utility, really trying to cut Eskom off at the knees. Now, on Friday, when you gave the briefing, you said that the Hawks had not received a complaint regarding Eskom, but given the stature of Eskom at the power as the country's power utility, is this not something the Hawks should investigate without necessarily having received a complaint?
Whatever we are currently investigating is what is reported to us. So we will not obviously be revealing the other intelligence that we might be having, which we follow. But with regard to what individuals or employees who are in a particular institution come across to identify as possible corruption, it needs to be reported. That's why the law has been put in place that whenever you come across anything that appears to be a corruption or theft, those type of offenses which the value exceed more than 100,000 rand, you have got an obligation to report and specifically report it to the Hawks. So that one has not yet been reported, but we expect that maybe sooner we will be getting an affidavit. Then we shall work from that one.
But you're saying that's notwithstanding other intelligence that you are looking into?
Yeah, so those will obviously be the case, and then we will not reveal what information we will be having, but it's not what he shall have made in public. So generally, when we talk about Eskom, there are some investigation that we are doing, but not what he shall have put before the media space.
But you're unable to tell us the extent of your Eskom investigations?
Yeah, we will not be revealing the matters that are not currently in public space. You may be aware that there are arrests that we have effected in the past, such as the matters of Tlhakudi, which is currently on the court roll. You may have noted that we are waiting for the extradition of one of the accused person to come and join him on the court roll. So there are several matters that we are dealing with at Eskom. I think when I was making the highlight, I also indicated an individual that has been arrested for stealing 500,000 worth of diesel that is intended to be assisting in generating power. So this is just but a highlight. When I was giving this a brief, citing the cases, I said that I'm only citing 3% of what we are having because it is too much to expect that you will have the platform to reveal what all these 800 cases are about.
Yeah, absolutely. General, as we round off our discussion with you this morning, you were giving us a report back on the fourth quarter of last year. Can you give us a sense of where your focus is for the first quarter of 2023?
I think that in the work that we are doing, there are areas that we are focusing on. You can expect that the state capture matters will enjoy priority. There are still COVID-19 PPE matters that still need to be finalized. As I've indicated, there is a lot of arrests that we shall have executed, 193. The state president shall also have hinted when he was answering questions in Parliament. So we are still focusing on those. Those that have helped themselves is still a focus. The July unrest, we are still finalizing some. I think you shall also have seen that we have published the name of somebody who's actually not coming forward so that we can round up on those that have played a role in that matter. We still also have got the Eskom related issues that is part of the priorities. The organized criminal groupings that target various commodities, be it illegal mining, those who are also receiving the proceeds of those illegal miners, we also focus on those. There are those who are bringing in drugs in the country so that they intoxicate the innocent South Africans. So those are but part of the focus area. You can't rule out that we are still also looking at the municipalities, where those who are supposed to be protecting the public purse are helping themselves out of that. So those are but part of the priority, cash in transit, the killing of police officials, because police officials are there to protect the public, but criminals would like to eliminate that layer. So that is but part of what we are dealing with.
Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya, let me thank you for your time this morning. The head of the National Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. You'll know them as the Hawks.